Alright, welcome everybody. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the biggest lessons and insights after generating more than 2,000 content pieces for the past 10 years, building a six-figure lifestyle business, and also coaching more than 70 to 80 clients exactly on their content. And so what you received today is number one, the 17 most common mistakes I've observed people making today right now. My current content strategy, if I was starting completely from scratch, I want to make at least 10 to 30,000 per month, and my current content strategy, right, to go towards making 50,000 per month right now. So get to know it exactly. And so why is this important, right, in today's world? I realize when we're talking about the old way of business, right, where people are always chasing leads, right, you're going to do a lot of selling, a lot of influencing, doing customers, you're going to do a lot of sales hacks and sales tactics. And right, in today's era, you're kind of expected to do a lot of workshops, webinars, right, a lot of like influencing and selling, right, before converting them, right. And so the problem is, right, while those business models kind of worked for me in the past, I was doing a lot of 3-day workshops, right, webinars, workshops over and over again. I really hated doing both because I wanted to focus on creating more value for my clients instead of selling all the time. And so as I started to find a model that was more aligned to me, right, this when one thing I knew was deniable, which is that content was an absolute priority, right? Something I had to double down. And so some of you might have heard of what we call the Google 7-hour rule, where Google did a study to say that if people wanted to really sell more effectively, right, or get more people to buy in a more aligned manner, right, people got to consume an average of at least 7 hours of content from you, right? Whether it's live, whether it's one-to-one, one-to-many, right? And so if you could, right, use content, right, to be part of the 7 hours, right, by the time they come on the sales meeting, right, or they come onto the sales pitch or sales document, right, selling will become a lot more easier. They didn't have to sell too hard. And so as I started doubling down on content, business, and in my sales, right, and marketing efforts, income, right, sales and revenue became a lot more easier than before, right? All because I started down on content. So with that, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started into this training, and if you want, you can download my exact document, right? This video somewhere down below if you want it as well. Enjoy. So with that, we're going to get started on the 17 most common mistakes, and we're going to explain them one by one. So let me just write it out here. So the number one, right, is just basically what I call lack of attractive hooks. So what I got to realize is a lot of people can create amazing content, right, from the heart, from the brain, right, amazing stuff to add a lot of value, but because they don't spend extra 5 to 10 minutes to optimize the hooks, right, or what we call the titles or the first couple of lines, a lot of people actually don't even read through the content. So no matter how amazing your content is, if you don't focus on the headline, right, or the subject lines or the first couple of paragraphs, right, of the hooks, chances are you're not going to get as many readers or people as you would like. So I think one key priority is making sure that you have an attractive hook that creates curiosity, right, creates engagement, right, or gives people an idea of what they can expect, right, before they consume the rest of the content. So making sure they have attractive hooks is one of the most important things that anyone needs to do if they want to create a lot more content for people to consume. Okay, so number two, right, and it sounds very simple, but basically it's just a simple idea of you're not creating enough content consistently, right? So what I do is I always tell clients, which is you want to create content, right, where especially where you don't need to get lots of clients, right? And so the more you create content, regardless of how your business is, your life is, right, your situation is, right, content is a long-term benefit, right, that will compound over time, right? And instead of treating it as a good to have, make sure it's something that you can schedule maybe at least 1 to 2 hours, right, every week, right, if possible, to make sure that you get your customers, your clients for entire lifetime. So for example, for me right now, I'm creating at least one email every single day, right? And so this time of the year, I'm embarking on a journey where I create at least one video every single day as well, as you are watching right now, because and these are not benefits for me to get tomorrow, right, immediately, but these are benefits that compound over time. And I've gotten clients and customers that follow me for years without even me knowing or without even them engaging, right? And so the powerful thing is the more consistent you are in creating your content, the more likely people will buy for you, right, the longer you do it. So that's number two, right, making sure you schedule in your calendar, right, maybe 1 to 2 hours every week at the very least, or about 10-15 minutes every day to create content, right, and you'll see the benefits compound over time. So number three, right, the third most common mistake is not being clear of who you want to attract. Right, so one of the biggest mistakes I made over the past couple of years is I created content, right, for a group of people I might not necessarily want to attract. So for example, right, when I was starting out in my business, when I was doing more productivity coaching, I was constantly talking about burnout, right, overwhelm, overload, right, and I use these words or content, right, almost every single time. And naturally, the people I attracted, right, were people who are extremely burnt out extremely overwhelmed and extremely overloaded. And well, this could still be amazing people to work with, right? As of this time of the business or this time of the video, these are not the people I really want to serve, right? I want to serve people that, yes, right, they have a business, right, that's making maybe decent income, decent sales, right, or they're a bit lost, right, but they are not to a point where they cannot even take action, right? Especially people who are burnt out, right, or people who are completely overwhelmed and can't do anything else, right? So and what you're gonna do is, if you're gonna attract a different group of people, you're gonna start shifting your content, right, to make sure that your content appeals to the people you want to target as well. And so this cannot be done if you're not even clear about who you want to attract, right, where they are, right, and who they're trying to become, right, as well. So what do we mean by that is basically the people you attract, right, there are two kind of people there, right? Number one, what is their current situation? Right, what's the current problems, what's the current blame, what's the current struggles, right? And number two, right, who they are trying to become, what are the goals they want to achieve, right? And what are some of the things they want to achieve in the future. So for example, right, the people I'm trying to attract are not people who want to make multi-millions, right? They're not people who want to create a listed company, right? Not people who are trying to serve 5,000, 10,000 people at once, right? The people I want to help serve, right, is people who want to build a lifestyle business, right, making multiple five figures every month, right, while enjoying their lives as well, right? Rather than those who's crushing it like David Goggins, right, or try to build an 8-figure, 9-figure business as well. So again, being clear about who you're gonna attract, where they are right now, right, and who they are trying to become. Okay, so the next thing is, and this is something I'm guilty of sometimes, which is there are too many things that you're trying to say at once in your content, right? So what I do is to always be clear of your main message of your post. So for example, right, one of my head coach, YY, right, she always talks about this first thing you want to be clear of even before you write the content, which is your main intention of your content, the main message you're trying to share, right? You can be very confusing, right? Or can get very weird, right, when you come out the rest of your content. So what you do is at the start, make sure you're clear of the main message in the first place, right? Rather than trying to have multiple messages at once where you don't even hit anything. So remember, right? A confused mind don't buy. Get clear on the main message before you craft the rest of the content. The next thing, right? And this is what I call it taking too long to get to the main point, right? So like I said, the hooks are usually in the first 1 to 3 lines, right? The couple of lines after can be to share a bit of context about what you're trying to say and then get to the main point as soon as possible. So what I've realized is a lot of my clients, when creating the content, they have come to a point where they create 10, 20 lines of their actual content before getting the main point of what they're gonna say. And by then, a lot of people might lose engagement, right? Lose views, right? They might just zone out. And so what you do is get straight to the point as fast as possible, right? In a way that makes sense, or of course in a way that engages people as well. Okay, so the next thing, you want to share more of you. And what I mean, right, is in today's world, people are not just here to buy just because you have a great offer all the time, right? A lot of time people want to buy from you because they want to know that they can connect to you as people as well. They want to relate. You have a personality, your values, your thoughts, your experiences, your observations, your insights, your big ideas. People want to know you as a person, right? Especially at the coaching services space of where I am. So make sure you're going to share more of you, right? Rather than just your topic all the time, your situation all the time, right? Which could be a little bit boring for people, or they might not be as engaged to you as they could. So this brings me to my next point, which is you want to mix up the type of your posts. So what do I mean, right? Which is if you keep sharing the same type of posts over and over again, it can get a little bit repetitive and a bit boring, right? And this is something even I'm guilty of at times, right? Which is I write the same kind of posts all the time, right? And it can get a little bit disengaging, or people are a bit bored of it. So mixing up the type of posts. So for example, if you look at my Facebook, right, just to give a bit of a live example, you realize that I don't try to share the same piece or the same structure of content all the time. Right, so my usual type is like usually long form content pieces, right? So that's what's pretty normal, right? How to create massive income leads financial, right? But you can look at my next content, right? It's about why Rolexes and Gucci bags are a waste of money to me, right? So it's a bit more personal content, right? Doing this is an offer post, right? Where I'm just going straight to the offer, right? So the past 2 posts, and over here just basically sharing the manifesto I have with my clients, right? And this is something that people actually was pretty engaged with. Okay, update of my financials, right, of my business month over last month. So you can realize, and also just quick snapshot of my China trip, right, as well. So realize that as you mix out the type of your posts, right, people are a little more engaged, and people are humans after all, right? So even if you're trying to sell something a bit more what I call traditional serious or a bit more B2B, right, people are still humans, right? So they still want to be entertained or engaged at some level. So mixing up the type of posts instead of writing the same thing like business advice over and over again, right, can be quite boring. So you're gonna mix it up, right, the type of post, and that's how you get a lot more engagements, a lot more likes from your content as well. So the next thing is, be fine with low engagement posts. And this is something I double down, I keep telling my clients over and over again, which is be fine if you have posts that only get 5 likes, 10 likes. Because number one, right, chances are a lot of people, right, might be silently consuming your content without even engaging. And this has happened a lot of times where people thank me out of nowhere. I have customers coming, and when I ask them how did they even know me, right, they would say that they've been following me for years, and I would never know. Right, I even had a client, right, because he was sharing some stuff on crypto without much engagements, but someone who actually bought him like a gift, right, like I think a gift box out of nowhere just to thank him for all the crypto advice he's been giving. The funny thing is, he has never engaged in a single piece of content before. So it all boils down, right, to the fact that low engagement posts are fine, right, number one, because you never know who is watching, and number two, right, you also realize that as you post a lot more content, you get to realize what are the pieces of content that tend to get high engagements, and then you can improve your stuff over time. So especially if you're starting out, be fine low engagement posts, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Just got to make sure that you got to keep going, right? Improving it, and then you can analyze what sort of content do the best, and then you can keep improving over time. Okay. So next thing is just a very quick tactical one, which is not to write long chunks of paragraph in your post. So what I do is you write long chunks, unless maybe you're from literature or English, right, or your content is, or your usual audience don't mind long piece of chunk of content, it's gonna be very hard to read. So for example, you can realize that while my content is pretty long, right, I don't deny that, I realize that everything is done in pretty like short chunks for people to read, so that people don't get overwhelmed or it doesn't become too boring for people to read. Okay, so again, don't write long chunks of paragraphs, right, in your post as much as possible, because again, people have very short attention spans, so you don't want to put long chunks, then people get zoned out very easily. Okay, next one. Not reply engaging with every person, right? So again, I know this, not everybody might agree, but especially if you're starting out, right, or if you're a smaller audience, you want to reply and engage with every person who comments on your post, right? So this is really just to thank them, appreciate them for commenting on posts in the first place, and also kind of like rewards them in a way, right, for them to be more likely to comment or engage with content moving forward, right? This also gives a signal to other people that you're not just someone just writing content from the top down and you're too big to care about people who's commenting for you. So again, replying and giving content, right, number one, right, creates more engagement, right, from both people who commented and both people who are viewing, right? But number two, it actually allows for greater algorithm as well. So for example, if let's say I scroll down to one of my older posts, right, again, this is a live example as you can see here, so I'm not so sure how well this could work. So let's say this is the content with me, how I traveled for impromptu vacation, right? So again, you can see, yes, well engaged, right, but I can see something, right? Right, so let me just do this will. Okay, so what happens is, after I comment on this post, chances are other people in the newsfeed will see this post as well. So anyway, we are bringing up, right, the post to other people's newsfeed by commenting on posts as well. And even when you just publish posts and get comments, right, the faster reply and engage them, it also gives a signal to the Facebook algorithm or in LinkedIn or whatever other channels you're from, right, that it's a highly engaged post, and then it's more likely to show even more people in the newsfeed as well, right? So again, you can do a couple of comments. So sometimes I can engage in the reactions, but not through comments. And then after a few weeks or few months, if I want to bring that post up again, it's a re-engagement thing. And then when I comment it, the other people will start seeing the post as well. Okay. Next thing. Lack of social proof and credibility. So this is a tactical thing again, which is sometimes, especially if we're giving like more like advice, right, or insights or opinions, the question sometimes people might be wondering is, why should they trust you? And so this is where you add some social proof and credibility to make sure that they are more likely to consume. So for example, the first thing I shared over here, right, is to share with you some levels of credibility, right? After generating more than 2,000 pieces of content over the past 10 years, building a 6-figure lifestyle business, coaching 70 clients. So what I'm doing is I'm sharing a lot of proof and credibility so that it's more likely for people to want to stick to the end as well. So this is something that you want to consider, which why should people trust you? Next thing, overthinking your post. So especially if you're starting out, right, my best suggestion is don't try to make every post to be freaking amazing or try to think that it must be perfect from the very beginning, but chances are you won't even publish or even post in the first place, and I've been guilty of it many times. So don't overthink your post, right? Write one quick sample, one quick tactic could be, right, instead of trying to create your entire post on the day itself, you can always separate out two processes. Number one, right, you can create the bullet points of your post, right, on one day, and then next day, right, you can actually write the actual meat of the post. So instead of overthinking everything all at once, right, you can, number one, ideate the bullet points of the post, the intention of the post, the hooks, right, and then next day, you can write the rest of the post. So instead of overthinking it, you have a more structured way to creating content, and that's how you get everything done. Okay, next one. Boring posts, right? A lot of people write amazing content, but if they're done in a boring way, people won't attract them, right? So a best example is basically the professor with 30 years of experience, right, trying to teach something and all the students fall asleep, right, because they're freaking louder by, right? And so how do you make posts that might be generally boring, right, to be more interesting? Would be using the power of stories, right? So I might do a storytelling training a separate day, right? But you can realize that a lot of my sharing, right, I have some stories to explain as well. Okay, so you can check it out. How my business generated 22,000. I shared what I struggled with in the past, right? Why is it right now? So again, using stories, right, to share advice or insights or opinions that could be generally seen as a bit money or boring can be very powerful to create more engagements and more attractiveness in your content. Okay, the next one, thinking about you and not your audience when posting. So one huge thing I always tell all my clients when it comes to this thing called second positioning, which is we want to keep thinking about what the other party wants rather than what we want to do, right? And while I know it's a degree kind of challenge, right, where you don't want to just create content that your audience wants, right, in a way where you lose yourself, right? But what I realize, a lot of people always get stuck about thinking what they want, right, instead of thinking about what the audience wants. So for example, let's say I want to give a piece of content where I want to advise my people to take more action, right? And so if all I do is just to write a post about why you should take more action, a lot of people are going to get bored, right? Because why? I know that most people are already exposed to ideas like we got to work hard, we got to take more action, we got to be more hardworking, right? And so the question is, how do I create the content in a way where the other audience, right, might be more engaged for them to absorb the idea, right? If I just say take more action, right, people are going to be zoning out because they've been hearing from many people. So how do I do it, right? Again, I could use stories, right, or I could use it in a way where people would want to hear. So for example, my recent piece of content, right, how to create massive income leaps, right? And the whole lesson of this post is, at the end of the day, let me just put here, is really just about working on your mindset, the internal which reflects the external. But if I just put this as my content itself, right, if I just put the internal which reflects the external, right, as the topic of the idea, people are going to get bored. But if I create something like how to create massive income leaps, right, then people are going to be more attracted, people will make more money, right? And then as I share my story to engage them further, right, then I give the big lesson, which is the internal, or which reflects the external, focus on the mindset, right? And that's what makes them more likely to consume the idea, right? Why? Because I know that a lot of people tend to get bored by being told advice over and over again, even though they've heard it before. So always thinking, right, about you, thinking about your audience, right, and not yourself when posting. Okay. So the other way, right, on the other position, right, is you're just thinking about audience and not yourself, right? So I know it's going to sound a bit ironic, right? But what I mean, which is, yes, you want to think about audience, but, right, you want to think about yourself as well, right? About what you want to share, what you're excited to tell people, right? Even if people don't pay you a single cent, right? Why are you excited for them to learn, to help to get better? So for example, right, a lot of times I would gladly create content, right, and I knowing that it will help people even if they don't buy from me at all. Whether it's because of a struggle I experienced, right, whether it's because of a lesson I learned from someone, right, something I'll be even willing to tell my friends, right, for free, right? And so again, if you just think about your audience and not yourself, right, you're going to struggle with alignment, right, with content eventually. So making sure that you create content that you feel excited to share as well, right, it's going to be another big tip that you can all use also. Okay, next one. Right, not starting a survey responses, right? So this, as I said, this is original training for clients, and one thing we get all of them to do is to create a client survey, right, or survey response, right, for all of their potential clients as well. And so if you do not study your survey responses, right, or if you don't even know, right, what your potential audience they want, what's the problems they're paying in a situation, right, again, you are actually preventing yourself from creating amazing content that could engage and get you buyers over and over again. So making sure you study, right, your survey responses, especially for clients. If you're not, right, my suggestion is do a client survey if you do a customer, or do an audience survey if you can, and then create content based on what they're looking for as well. Okay, and the last mistake right over here is being overly structured or overly unstructured, right? So what I mean is content is both an art and science, right? So while again if you're a client, you have all my playbooks, my templates, my scripts you can use for yourself, but if you just follow it all the time, right, you might lose that kind of art or the kind of engagements, right, that could be possible, because why? At the end of the day, we are all humans. So there's some connection going on there rather than following it like a robot, right? There's something to struggle with as well. On the other hand, right, if you're just writing, right, from your artist, right, from all your spirits, right, the problem is if there's no structure, right, to creating a lot of content, people might not consume it as well. So what I always tell clients is creating content is both an art and science. It's not either or. right? So it's just the question is, what is the degree of art versus science that makes sense for you, and you want to test it out, right, to make sure that you get an idea of what is your optimal kind of content. So again, this is why creating more content, right, will give you more data to share for you to analyze, to get better about what sort of content works best for you. Okay, so again, this is a snapshot of content mistakes. I can check it out. And so the next portion is, what's my content strategy hit 50K per month currently, right? So number one, daily social posts, right, to be constantly top of mind, daily emails, right, optimizing for buyers and subscribers. So what I mean, right, which is in the past, right, I thought that my main goal, right, was to optimize a lot of my emails to get as many subscribers as possible, right? But after pivoting to my new business model, right, which you can check out my training, right, somewhere down below, I realized that my main priority was not to get lots of subscribers, was to optimize for buyers instead, right? And buyers means clients, and clients means the people I can actually support and hopefully transform both their finances and their life. So my daily emails is to optimize for buyers, right? Daily social posts to be constantly top of mind for more people to get to know who I am, right? YouTube, right? My general target is 2 to 3 YouTube posts per week to nurture buyers and make sales easier. This is basically if people can start consuming my content through YouTube, right, is the best way for them to consume hours and hours and hours of content, right, to make my sales easier, as what you're doing potentially right now. Okay, as I did our video, like I said, right, my aim is to make at least one post, one video every week, right, or every day, right, instead of, and it could be both YouTube, it could be for clients as well, but that's something that I plan to target towards making that $50,000 per month, right? Repurposing my posts, so what do I do? My team, right, to repurpose all my posts, my emails, my YouTube videos to shorts, to carousels, right, to shorter form posts on different platforms, right, whether it's TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, right, Facebook Short posts. So again, this is repurposing, right, which I'm doing with my team. Might do a separate training on that moving forward as well, right? And so end of the day, these are what I call my content ecosystem, right? So linking my emails and posts to past YouTube videos or workshops, right, and linking my past YouTube videos, workshops, right, to my emails and posts as well. So again, creating an entire content ecosystem rather than just creating in silo. Okay, this is my target right down the road, which is about 1 lead magnet per month, right, which is something that hopefully I can offer for free, something very valuable, right, in exchange for contact details, which I'll give for free, right, or 1 to 2 low ticket workshops or events as well. So right now, this is not a main priority, as my main priority is YouTube, right, and my daily posts as well. Okay, and then promote my core offer for about once a week per month. So when I promote core offer, that means through my emails or through my content, right, I'm actually promoting for people to find out more details about my offer, my coaching program, my workshops, my services, about once per month, right? Actually, I'll put it as a call to action at the end instead of selling too much on the spot. Okay, so this is my content strategy. If I want to hit 10 to 30K per month, if I have to start all over from scratch, right? Number one, 3 to 5 social posts per week at the very least. Like I said, I get most of you are busy, you have own commitments, but I can put at least 3 per week, right? Schedule about 1 to 2 hours every week if possible. That's number one priority. Number two, right? You can repurpose them to emails, right? And can use it to promote your socials or YouTube videos as well. So collecting their emails, right? And then you can promote to your other stuff you need to. About 1 YouTube video per week if I can. I wouldn't overthink it. And how do I use YouTube? Which is I'm shooting videos that I want my clients to learn already, right? So I'm shooting videos that I want even my paying clients. So even though this is a free YouTube video, this exact training I want my clients to consume, right? If they ever want to analyze or audit, right, how their content is like. So don't overthink it, right? If you want to, make sure that you want to be consistent in creating your YouTube videos, and about 2 launch campaigns per month as well, right? So every month, right, at least once or twice, I want to promote maybe a workshop, direct offer, lead magnet, giveaway, so on and so forth. This is my entire content strategy if I had to start all over from scratch. Okay, so again, if you're a client, you can always ask me if you have any questions. Okay, so this is a bonus, right? So these are some of my posting hacks that have worked very well for me. So I hope you guys can take it for yourself as well. So number one, right, saving posts to model after. So wherever you come across through emails, Facebook, YouTube, right, wherever you find across posts that maybe the hooks are pretty good or the topic's pretty good, you can always save it, right, so they can use it for yourself. So for example, let's say my newsfeed. Let's say for some reason, right, I like this a wrestling post, right? So let's say Fiona, right, like this post, right, what I can do is, I can go here and I can always save it as a post to potentially look after. So after that, what I do is every time you're wondering what ideas you have about your content, about what you want to create, then you can go to your saved post. So I go to saved, and then there are many pieces of content I can take a look, right? I can potentially use for my future content as well. So if you're very running out of ideas, right, having a piece of content where you can swipe, right, or you can model after would be amazing for you to do. So you can do your YouTube, Instagram, just create a playlist, right? Add any content you like over there, the playlist, and that's how you get it done. So for example, let me just do it on YouTube as well. So let's say I like this content, I can put it here, save to playlist, and then I can put to model after. So, okay. So number 2, right, like I shared earlier, separating your time to idea and create content. So sometimes if you really can't create content or you're not as consistent as you want to be, right, what I say again, number 1, your brain, right, when it's ideating content and creating the content is 2 different parts of your brain. So what I do is one timing, right, or one day can be used to ideate the content, the other timing can be used to create the actual content, right? So it's used 2 different parts of your brain. Okay. Next one, right? 4 bazooka types of content, right? So there are 4 bazooka types of content I always share all my clients. Whether you're starting from scratch, this is the content that's been best used to serve people, right? So attractive transformation, right? News checking, leverage, and belief shifting, right? Again, if you're a client, you can check it out under magnetic content, right? If not, you can check it out in my other videos about some of the content I use myself as well. Okay, next thing, 4 categories of posts, right? Share, teach, show, and give. So this one is by one of my mentors, right, Dan Bolton, that I've learned from him. These are the 4 types of content you want to play around with to make sure there's variety. So sharing is sharing something of value, right, or sharing an offer, right, so that sharing some parts of your life, right, instead, so that people get to know more about you. Teaching is you actually teach something related to your topic, right, so actually giving advice, right, actually giving insights, lessons, step-by-step tactics that people can use for themselves. Right, showing, right, is showing your case studies, right, showing testimonials, credibility, showing your awards, right, your past successes, right. So this is showing, and then this is giving, right. So giving something of value, right, to people, whether it's your lead magnet, your workshops, your offer, yourself. So again, sharing, right. So sharing parts of your life, sharing parts of your work, right, behind the scenes, right, for people to get to know you better. Teaching something of value, giving them tactics, step-by-step stuff. Showing, right, is showing in terms of giving case studies, your credibility, successes, so that people get to increase the amount of credibility. And giving is giving something of value, of offer, right, with your campaign, your workshops, or events for people to buy or to participate in. Okay, so timing wise, these are just basically what has worked for me. Remember to test it out yourself. So more serious posts usually for me has worked from Monday to Thursday evenings, right? Because people are a bit more into the work zone, and then more casual and shorter posts I tend to do it more Friday to Sunday. So these are more entertaining posts, right? People are a bit more relaxed during the weekends, so I don't try to do too much serious posts during those periods of time as well. Okay, so structure of the post, right? Again, hook, right? I'll explain the hook after that, right? And then I'll share the story, right? Which will link to the insights or lessons, and then a call to action. So I'll use PS usually for my emails, my content, right? If I really want to promote something very well. So again, hook, explain the title, explain the hook, share a story, right? Relation to whatever I talk about, and then relate it to the insights or the lessons you want to give to people. Okay. Another thing I do is I repurpose my content to relevant Facebook groups and communities to increase my engagement and traffic. So for example, one of my favorite groups I like to share some content with, let me just show you over here, is mastermind.com, right? So this is a group by Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. So if you take a look at my past content over here, right? And again, I'm just copying and pasting, right? So I'm actually not doing much. So even I get 3 likes, so what? Right? So I'm actually getting more engagements, and some of my posts can go very slightly viral in a way, right, for my target audience. So all these people, I can invite them, right, to like my posts. If I feel that they're my target customers, I might want to add them as friends, right? So again, not really in terms of versus from America, but I can invite all of these people to, right, follow me on my Facebook profile. Okay, so you can just check it out over here. So followers, right? So what I can do is every time I have a content, so let's say I have more than 20 people, right, you can, like I said, add friends, right? If you want to, I can invite them to like your, or to invite them to follow your page. Okay, so go to Facebook groups, find out which groups, right, have your target group of people, and then you can send them out. Next one, commenting or republishing old posts, like I said earlier, right? So what you can do is you can always go back to your old posts, right? You can go back to your old posts, right? Find out who has commented, and then you can just comment on them as well. So this is going to be pretty easy, right? Okay, all right. So again, yeah, sometimes I do forget to reply as well. Okay, so going back. And then for YouTube, right, what I can do is you can use old posts, social presentations as part of your YouTube videos. So a lot of my YouTube you saw are actually repurposed trainings that I've done for clients or presentations or things I've already created, and then I'll just shoot YouTube videos from there, right? So it's not just as simple as that. Should want to teach your clients anyway, right? And start with promise proof process, right? And so this is one thing I learned from Alex Hormozi, right, in the recent months that's worked very well. So promise proof process just means when you're starting out content, right, you want to add some proof as soon as possible, right? So you want to kind of like tell them immediately, right, that while I'm sharing my title, I am going to share this video, right? So this is the proof, right? This is the process, right? And I'm going to talk about what I'm going to share people as well, right? So that's part of what people are going to get, right? So the promise, right, sending content, ideas, the proof, right, and then the process of what we're going to do for people. Okay, so these are just bonus trainings as well. So the last portion, right, over here, so these are bonuses, which is content audit and reflection questions. So again, what you're going to do is, if you're already posting content, what you can do is look over the past 30 days of content, and this is what I do every month, right, across your different marketing platforms, and you can ask a couple of questions. Number one, what types of content do you do well on? What are some common patterns among the content that did maybe high engagements, higher comments than before? What types of content did you neglect as well? So you can check this out. Does your content position you as an expert authority? Do you look like someone who can get results, right? So again, ask yourself, right, when you look through your content, does it position you as an expert authority? Number 4, are you talking about stuff your audience actually cares about? So look through from your audience point of view, right, when auditing your content, ask, are these titles or these hooks or these topics content actually my audience actually cares about? Next one, are you showing results, progress, or snippets of life your audience aspires towards? So for example, right, while I didn't used to like to do it in the past, right, I travel quite a bit, right, and I didn't used to post them. But as I gotten to realize from my mentors that these are things that my audience might want, right, as I share more of that, they're more likely to be related to me, right, to connect with me, and they're more likely to buy from me or engage with me as well. So are you showing results, progress, snippets of your life your audience aspires towards? Okay. Next one, your ideal audience feel they really understand me, right? So this is something that I'm also working towards, right? Which is in terms of all your content, right? Can your audience feel, right, that, hey, I think you understand me? So sharing your past struggles, your past situations, your thoughts, your opinions, right, your observations, right? And the more they feel that you understand them, the more they're likely to buy from you, right? What are some areas that you feel that you got it right in terms of content, right? And what are some areas you feel you need to work on, right, that could be better? Again, we are always improving, we're always getting better. I'm using these content audit questions myself every month as well, because I know that there are always ways to improve my content. And last question is, would you follow you? Right? So will you follow you? Just basically, would you have would your co-audience subscribers follow you, right, if needed when they look through your content? So, right, so with that, we end off this entire content. Again, the document is below for your reference, and check me out if you have any training moving forward. Cheers.